Hi guys, welcome back to the Heel Project. We are back with our weekly podcast, our first weekly wrestling podcast, should I say, over here on the wrestling channel. The boys are joining me. We are here, as we're going to be every week, talking the wrestling. First of all, as we always used to do with the regular chats, how are we, boys?
We are good. I am good.
You are good?
I'm good. First day back at work today after a long weekend, but...
Good. What about you? What about you two boys?
Sound?
I'm going to be honest. I've been a bit dizzy today. I've slept for large portions of it, but other than that, yeah, I'm all right.
Well, we've had a we've all had a bit of a busy week. We've had a lot of wrestling.
Lots.
There has been a lot.
And obviously, this is our first format. So if you look down on this bar underneath, probably Phil or Pete, there's a little bar underneath them. If you hover your mouse on the screen or if you touch it with your finger, you'll be able to chapter along to where you want in this video this time.
Ooh.
So it's the first time that we've done it. So if you look down there, there'll be things like, I don't know, us talking now. There'll be things like AEW, there'll be WWE stuff, Smackdown Raws, Money in the Bank stuff for this week, but obviously there won't always be pay-per-views, but there'll be things down there in those chapters. So check them out, decide what you want to watch. If you want to watch it all, great. But mainly, let us know what you want, what you've sort of jumped to down in the comments below, because I think that'd be quite good to understand our audience.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Might be worth just for the first one watching through all the segments so that you know which segments you're interested in for next time as well.
I think so.
Just a thought. Although
we did have some.
No, I was just going to say, at least now you can skip the AEW stuff when you don't want to watch it. Cause
I was thinking that. Yeah.
But also,
it is a thing.
Yeah, but you also, the AEW fans, they don't have to listen to all the WWE stuff they don't want to as well. If
Also
they want to
true.
skip to just the pay-per-view stuff for WWE, cool. If you're someone like our friend St. Jimmy who's just trying to get back into wrestling, he already is now. He's well and truly
He's sucked back in
the wrestling scheme. But if you want to get involved again and get into it, maybe you can decide and get back in, which will be really good for you. But there was one big thing that happened to us this week. Adam Oakley joined us.
It was out the blue as well.
Yeah, I was just sat here chilling out. I think I was playing Jurassic Park or something, or Jurassic World Evolution, and I randomly got a phone call, and I was like, "What's this?" I kind of looked over, and Adam was ringing me. I was like, "Okay."
Oh no, you got a text. No,
we got a text, didn't we?
In the day, we had the phone call later to be like,
"Are you guys watching Money in the Bank?"
I didn't see that.
How do I get into the Zoom? No, you did, mate, on the WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And then later in the day, he was like, knock. How do I get into the WhatsApp? Into the Zoom, boys. The Zoom, which is obviously what we use for the.
Never rang me.
For the babies, I think. To be fair, did he ring you, Pete?
No, I was sleeping.
There we go. He rang me first, and I missed it, and he rang Link. So just remember that, boys. Who Adam's favourite is. Although maybe, I'll be honest, he probably just went. In all fairness, Phil, shut up. Adam Oakley doesn't watch our stuff. He probably didn't even know. He didn't know that you were part of the Heel Project now. In all fairness,
to be fair, you're the first letter, and you're the nearest one to the top of the alphabet for us. So.
I mean, realistically as well, Dan does most of the tech side of things.
He does.
The most logical person to speak to.
What else?
It's fine.
Oh, Phil's actually
Phil's
hurt,
sulking already. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But that was a nice visit.
It was nice to see Adam. It's been a while, but
it
is nice to have a catch up with him, and on one of his rare visits back to the UK.
Yeah.
Speaking of, save me doing it down in the comments below because I know I'll forget. Go and watch what just happened for Money in the Bank. He appeared in that as well.
He did.
Go onto there, give us one more view because that's nice of you, and go and check out all of his stuff that's down in the comments down below, in the description down below on there. Everything's there. His ghost strip investigation, his own stuff, all of it. I haven't included his IMDb or anything like that because I feel like that would be inflating his head a bit too much.
Yeah, it definitely would. And it was the first time all five of us have. Six of us. Six of us
turned up at the very last second. Which
six of us have been on there for a long time, which was good.
Yeah, it was nice to have us all together. It's the first time we'd all been together since November. So
yeah,
So I feel like the best place to start, as we started the sort of the weekend, was SmackDown.
Yeah.
It was.
And about where we are, sort of what we've been enjoying on SmackDown recently and what's been going on. Because this is the first one, and you'll get more just week by week plays, but I feel like we should sort of talk about a little bit more about what has also been happening.
I mean, let's be honest. The most part of SmackDown has been the Bloodline stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say the
only
same thing.
The only thing that's been really important on there, I'm trying to think of any other storylines that are going on at the moment, and they're all on Raw.
There is a lot of Raw in there.
I can't think of anything that's going on SmackDown other than
Bailey Piper stuff. Bailey Piper, Chelsea Green
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, and I suppose Nia's obviously Queen of the Ring, so she's going to be building that story there. And we've got Chelsea Green.
And there's a few tag teams being split coming soon as well, by looks of things, I think, as well.
Hopefully one of them's Bianca Belair's tag team.
Well, I think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to keep them together for very long. So that one will happen, but at the same time, I'm kind of okay with them staying as a tag team because then they do less as singles. Is it harsh?
No. No,
Phil,
no, it's not.
Phil, what's your take? Because you've sort of only recently, sort of, as you've been joining us, sort of keeping an eye on the wrestling a lot more. What's your take on Jade and Bianca?
When Bianca first sort of like came onto the scene from NXT, I was like, I really can get behind her, and then almost instantly it was like, oh, I'm bored of you already. So, and I really don't see Jade sticking around much either. I can't get into them.
But she's got abs.
Well, I mean, I've got an ab somewhere if you'd look hard enough.
An, a singular.
The thing is, I'm more excited about Jade than I am Bianca at the minute, and that's saying something.
Me too. So the thing with Jade, the thing with Bianca is she was very, very good when she came up from NXT. She had maybe a year where she was interesting, and then the character got stale. They stopped booking her for the big spots and things. And it seems like since then she's just got really sloppy in the ring and seems to make mistakes more often than not. And it's become quite painful to watch her recently, if I'm deadly honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried she's going to turn into the next Natalya and a gimmick stays the same.
I was thinking, oh God, what are you going to start doing to yourself when they come on the screen?
No.
I'm going to be completely fair to Natalya here. At least Natalya could wrestle. Natalya didn't injure people and make stupid mistakes constantly, whereas Bianca seems to just constantly be making mistakes. It's
holding my heart there, boys. You can't believe Link gave Natalya a compliment.
Look, Natalya's boring, like utterly boring.
It's not wrong,
but she can wrestle. Like she's obviously got skill. She's trained with some of the best, if not the best, and she knows what she's doing in the ring. She is a safe hand. Yeah. But she isn't. She doesn't have that star quality to her. Is the problem with Natalya?
I think you're right.
It's true.
I think you're right. Yeah, like we said, the main stuff is all Raw.
Yeah, once you take Cody, Randy.
But we did have something on. We did have. Well, we'll get to the Bloodline, but we did have something else that happened on Friday.
We did.
Was that DIY have dethroned A-Town Down Under? I'm not surprised, considering that they had they've also had the other tags changed hand recently on Raw, from heel to face. So they needed from face to heel. Yeah, from face to heel, and now they've switched it the other way around for SmackDown. So I'm not surprised, to be honest.
Did you see R-Truth's tweet?
I didn't. What did he?
The picture with them two and Triple H.
Oh, I did. Yes, I did. saying about DX winning the titles, and obviously Triple H has also stood there, brilliant. He's so funny. I love that man with everything.
I'm happy with that. I just don't want to see them split Waller and Theory yet.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to happen before November.
I think they're going to tease it a bit more first. I think they're still going to continue the story with Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory from their history.
Yeah.
I think they've still got a little bit more of that to play out before it completely ends.
I think you're right there.
And I think that will eventually lead to their breakup. An interesting note as well is if we're going to be talking about the Gargano family or whatever they were called, the Way, as they were.
Yeah.
Obviously, Indy and Candice are currently teamed together as a heel team now,
which I'm enjoying.
And then there's only one other member that isn't involved, and that's because he's over on Raw and involved in something completely different, which is way better in my opinion. So I think there's one of them's definitely traded up. Although I will say this match, the tag match, was really good. For a SmackDown. To say it wasn't on the pay-per-view, it was just a really good match. They had so many throwbacks in the match to...
I was going to say, lots of pops for actual fans that got it as well.
Yeah, there's so many throwbacks to DIY's previous rivalry with FTR, all of the history that they had down in NXT together, fighting over the NXT titles, or tag titles. I think it was really, really smartly done, and it was a really good match. And to be honest with you, even if they keep 8 Out Down Under together and they start to mimic that rivalry that they had with FTR a little bit more,
would be so good.
I certainly wouldn't be upset by it.
No.
Completely. Like it's sort of, it just adds that extra element, doesn't it, to it all.
I enjoyed SmackDown because it was a typical go home show, but with that added actual main event that was really entertaining.
I'll be honest, annoyingly, the big go home moment was the week before. Like, the big moment that was a part of that go home show was Paul Heyman being put through a table.
Yeah.
By the Bloodline.
Well, it definitely sold the story.
What was that? Yeah, that was the week before, wasn't it? Because that was the week
It was the week before, but there is something I've missed off that chat, off our little rundown here, is that after the tag match, we did get the little segment with Solo backstage or in a darkened room with the rest of the members of Bloodline, saying that if Roman's got a problem with that, they'll have to come and speak to him basically. And he basically called out Roman Reigns. So they're still building for that, and I think it's inevitable at this point. We all know it's coming. It's just it hasn't yet.
He said Cody first, and then Roman.
Yeah, and that was my point. Obviously, it was just sort of feeding in for the match. Feeding into the match for Money in the Bank, obviously, but at the same time, that sort of segment didn't feel like a proper go home moment. Whereas, obviously, that Heyman thing would have been
amazing for it.
As part of that as well. But again, obviously, we're not going to see Heyman for a little while, and we continue to not see him at Money in the Bank. But first, Link, shall we do it? Shall we talk about AEW? Because Phil doesn't know AEW exists yet. We'll teach him.
I'm going to be honest. It was Pete that told me about the stuff that'd been going on.
It was.
Well, no, not true. Because it was only on Sunday before it was Forbidden Door. I don't think we've sort of spoke about it really on the channel.
This is true. We haven't spoken about Forbidden Door. Although, to be honest with you, mate,
I enjoyed the show, mate. It was long.
It was good. It was very, 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 very long. They need to do something about the length of their pay-per-views because they are painful.
Yeah, it was. I struggled the next day.
We're in the UK. It didn't end until nearly 6 a.m. Like it's too much. Like if I was in the States, fair enough. You know, it's a bit more reasonable. It ends at like 1 a.m. But for us, it's just.
That's the thing. Even when I'm working, I try and do a pay-per-view, and I try and force myself to do a pay-per-view. As soon as it's an AEW one, I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah,
because I know it's just going to go on too long.
Which
I think
It's
you've
so frustrating.
I think you got up and we were still going.
It was so frustrating because
Pete
I
was
want to
probably
watch
already
it.
at work by the time we were live. By the time we were done.
But obviously, as part of that, though, there is obviously things that we do need to talk about for AEW's related stuff, because there is obviously new champions. Jack Perry is the new AEW TNT champion, which is obviously very important to talk about in that ladder match link.
Yeah, the one that I completely forgot.
Chef's kiss.
It was a very good match, though.
Mwah. We'll get to it for next week, but we tend to do draft scores on our weekly podcasts, and I'm a bit annoyed that Pete managed to pick up another 3 points here by Mercedes Moné winning two. She's now got 2 titles.
Pete got a lot of points during this during that show, to be fair.
He did.
I'm happy the way the feud's kicking up with Britt Baker as well, because I've got her as well.
Yeah, that happened as well. Yeah, I forgot about that. Britt's back. NATO won the title back off of John Moxley.
NATO.
And same difference.
No, NATO is something completely different.
I spend my time saying take a shitter, so I feel like people can accept the fact I'm going to pronounce Japanese wrestlers wrong. Will Ospreay Swerve. That was a good match. All right, wasn't the best though, but again, that stayed as it was. So that was us caught up from Forbidden Door. Realistically, there wasn't a lot
else that happened, was there? It was a bit of a. The matches were very, very good, but the show was
very long.
Nothing really happened.
Yeah,
it was.
Well, the start of the Owen Hart competition, the Owen Hart Cups, obviously played a part in this, and that's obviously going to lead on to a thing in a second. But yeah, so during that we had. Right, so beating Takagi. We had, I think that was the only one actually for the men, wasn't it? And then we also had a women's one somewhere. I'm sure we did. Yeah, we did. Maria May. Oh yeah, Maria May beats Saraya, otherwise known as Paige, formerly known as Paige. That was obviously quite important. Following on, going into Dynamite and Collision for this week.
It's Mariah May, just for the record.
All right, we'll just say I get wrestlers' names wrong. All right. I can do can't do English apparently.
Can't say geography.
I can't
do it.
I can do geography for the. I mean, just we'll make a note. That's going to come back soon over on the main channel. I
was thinking about that the other day actually.
Can't do words. Pete, as Link says that you've been keeping up to date with it, go on and carry on, sunshine. Get involved. Get amongst it. Feels desperate for us to move on from AEW.
Oh,
Phil's already clicked. Phil's already clicked the chat.
AEW actually.
Oh, go on.
Do you want to talk about it now?
No. Because go back to what you said about Swerve and Ospreay.
I see this.
You said it wasn't very good. Is that what you said?
No.
Did I hear that right? What did you say?
I said it wasn't. I didn't think it was the best. I think I built it up to be higher, in my opinion.
What, as high as 5.5 stars?
Oh, God.
Oh, piss off! Piss off!
We are not talking
Piss
about.
off!
We are not talking about that guy's
You are
star ratings.
such
They are ridiculous.
Such a little wind-up, isn't you? I know you're sat there with the biggest fucking grin on your face as well.
Yeah, we just don't entertain his star ratings. They are ridiculous.
It was good. Don't get
swear
me wrong.
by them.
But and obviously, I am taken aback by the fact I was tired when you get to this match. So me being as interested in this match just isn't going to happen. And to be honest, that's going to happen with most of the UK if they're watching it live.
Yeah, I was pretty much dead by that point.
It didn't have a big oh holy crap, wake me up moment because I don't know, something happened.
That would have been that happened with Marco Stunt.
Marco Stunt? He hasn't been in the company since 2000 no 2000 I don't know when.
22.
Something. No. That was no. Shut up, man. That's just what that was. What's his face said on commentary?
Yeah, it was
2000 and.
I don't know when.
I don't know when.
That was literally said.
Brilliant.
Well, for the record, it was 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, Marco Stunt basically got destroyed by Jack Perry this week. There was a clip I've put in our Discord of him getting picked up by Jack Perry launched across the ring straight into a turnbuckle face first.
Was I got to ask, because obviously I didn't see that part of the show. Was that I obviously saw the little clip on TikTok. Was that an open challenge that Jack Perry was issuing?
I don't know. It was just Marco Stunt returning but challenging.
Was it? It was. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was the match then. That's what obviously formed the match then.
His
old tag team partner, stable partner.
I know. I don't know what name he's going under now, but Luchasaurus come out and gave Marco Stunt a bit of a look. Kill switch.
Yeah.
That was it. Come out and give him a bit of a look, and he went to say something. Marco Stunt went to say something to him. He just looked at him and walked off. I wonder if that's teasing something going to be happening there.
What, Marco Stunt joining with Christian?
Possibly.
I mean, it's just strength by numbers, I suppose, mate.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to like taking on scrawny little people that aren't very good.
Exactly. But Hangman returned as well.
Wayne.
Yeah, Hangman returned as well, which was kind of telegraphed. I think everyone knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, that was on last Wednesday, wasn't it? So a week ago from when this goes out.
So it was obviously Jeff Jarrett versus a mystery opponent in his semi-final for the Owen tournament, wasn't it?
And it's everyone kind of knew who it was going to be. It's one of the things that come out very, very early. He was going to be involved again.
It was pretty well telegraphed, but it happened. And to be honest with you, Page being back, he's got a bit of an edge to him now. He's definitely the heel. He had a moment with the Young Bucks backstage where he just basically shrugged them off because they were basically welcome him back in, and he kind of just shrugged them off and told them he's going to do it on his own now. So at least we're not going back to where we were.
Well, and then on the I'm not entirely sure which way round they were, but that meant going into the semi-finals, we had Pac and Bryan Danielson against Jay White and Adam Page.
We did, yep.
Which is quite
opening match.
Which is quite a stacked sort of semis, really, to be fair, isn't it? Bryan Danielson beating Pac, Hangman Adam Page beating Jay White to set up a Bryan Danielson Adam Page final for tonight's Dynamite. And to be honest, and I'm going to eat my words, you can come back and abuse me tomorrow, it seems quite obvious it's going to be Adam Page. Adam Page versus Strickland 2.0 at Wembley.
I think it will be.
Yes.
It does make sense.
Yes.
It does make sense, especially with him just coming back last week. So,
Link, what do you want on Wembley?
I want Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. 100%.
It would be very good.
They teased it a lot last year. They teased it a lot last year. But obviously Danielson got injured, so it's give McGuinness that last match in his home country. It makes the most sense
against a name like Danielson. Yeah,
that'd be huge.
Yeah. One more thing I spotted.
McGuinness should win it as well. Just gonna
more AEW Chat. Go on. I'm joking, mate.
Ospreay, we know, left the Don Callis family. He got replaced this week.
Did
by Roosh or
Rush.
And I think that's really good. I think that's going to be really good because I enjoy watching his stuff and he's quite good. And I was like, do you know what? They should do something with him. And I think Don Callis family could really work there.
Oh, in other news, by the way, there's also the women's Owen Hart Cup. It's also Willow Nightingale versus Mariah.
Yes.
May? Is that the right?
That's the one. Right? Yeah, Mariah May.
Yay! It's the right person this time.
Which for me, that should obviously be Mariah May winning that.
Oh, 100%.
Mariah May versus. Have they? Because I've missed the weekly last week. Have they split? Have they still done some more teasing between her and Tony Storm? No,
I don't believe they did anything this week.
No, I don't think. Not that I know of.
Let us know in the comments below.
If they did, I must have missed it.
Let us, because obviously that's what that's going to lead to, I think, and we've got plenty of time to build for it, because that's their next pay-per-view. Is that what I said the other day? Their actual official one. It is, yeah.
I think it might be, yeah.
Officially, it's their next one, which is mental. Whereas, I mean, New Japan's next one was in a high school, because it was obviously the New Japan
Pro Wrestling presents CMLL. Fantastica, Mania, Lucha Libre, USA. It's a bit long-winded, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's not actually New Japan either. It's New Japan
it's not.
Strong,
It's strong. Yeah.
which is a much lesser company for them, really.
Of course it is. Of course.
That's it for AEW, I think.
We're done, Phil. It's okay. It's okay.
Right, okay.
I should have said to Phil, if he wanted to know Rouge was, we could tell him it was Dragon Lee's brother. He would have recognised who it was then.
I don't think that would have helped him recognise him at all.
No.
They don't look anything alike, so...
Not Link. Phil did join us for Money in the Bank this week as well, which was nice.
I did.
Too.
We don't get Phil very often for pay-per-views, so when we do, it's always better.
It is.
Before we start, ratings for Money in the Bank, boys. What did we think of the actual show?
Well, we're going out of 5.
Well, Dave Meltzer does, but he goes over, so what difference does it make? Just give me a number, I suppose.
Yeah, out of 5, so 20 stars.
Yeah.
No. Do you know what? If we're going out of 5, I'll probably give it a 4.5. It was a very good show. Very good show.
I've seen a lot of people criticising it, but I really liked it.
Why.
So, sod them.
Because their favourite didn't win.
Do you know what I liked?
Say a 4.
Do you know what I liked? And you know, boys know exactly what I'm going to say.
Go on.
Started at midnight.
It did.
How much better is it?
Seems to be a thing
does
going
seem-
forwards
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
They've already advertised that SummerSlam's on at midnight. And what else was it? The one they've just announced, Bad Blood. That's on at midnight.
And Heatwave was on at midnight as well. So
Yes. Yeah, so it looks like this is a thing.
to be fair, me
could be a
and Pete
game
did the
changer.
watch along for Heatwave, and we were done by
Before
3
3
AM.
Yeah, 3 o'clock we were done. It was brilliant.
And that's
Like,
before SmackDown.
It's less than a
SmackDown.
SmackDown, yeah. So it was easy.
And
Oh,
that,
I wonder if that all moves once we go to Netflix.
that was with recording of what just happened as well.
Yeah.
I could live with that if we go to SmackDown being finished by 2.
Oh, that'd be
No,
lovely.
the thing is,
And
I
Civil
don't,
War being finished by 3 on Netflix. Oh,
I don't think we will be though, because
Al Pete, shut up.
there's still going to be SmackDown. That's still going to be live
still gonna
shows
be on
in
their
the
show,
USA.
yeah.
The reason they've done it, they've said, was with doing a pay per view on a Saturday, all the Saturday and Sunday shows. It's not interfering with people working in America, so they can bring it forward an hour.
Yeah.
Where for your Fridays and your Mondays, people still work.
Yeah,
so they
that's true.
Carry
I'd
on at
never
normal
even-
time.
I'd never even considered that, to be fair. I only sort of look at it from selfish
Yeah.
point from our side.
Yeah, they've done it just for people that are working for Saturdays and Sundays. They can bring it an hour earlier.
Well, another thing about Raw as well is they used to like having it late as it is, because they just go past the watershed mark in a lot of their states in America for the final hour of Raw,
Yeah.
which allows them to get away with some extra stuff.
Which doesn't particularly apply nowadays, but yeah.
It doesn't, but it
It's
won't when
slowly
it's on
starting to
Netflix.
change.
So
Yeah, they've already said it won't, so it'll be good.
Yeah. But anyway, we had a pay-per-view. I want to say again, a pay-per-view
we had 2 pay-per-views, PLEs.
with a pre-show,
Yep.
with no pissing match.
2-hour pre-show.
Sorry, it's
Yeah.
just so.
2 hour pre-show.
horrendous.
2-hour pre-show for Money in the Bank with no
That's
matches.
why you should watch Heatwave.
They made us sit there. They made us sit there and entertain Adam Oakley for an hour and try and keep him happy and make sure that he didn't want anything. Like, make sure that he was happy and good and got the golden boy treatment.
I'm going to be honest, it flew by.
We didn't. It did. We were chatting,
Because of
we
the
were
amount of
chatting.
people, yeah.
But again, it was earlier in the night as well, which made it a lot better.
It did, yeah.
So-
Although we did start at 10:30 rather than 10 for our watch along, so we
Yeah.
didn't watch the first hour of the pre-show anyway.
I'll be honest, I'm good if we do that going forward for WWE stuff, because we missed nothing.
Yeah,
Wow.
I guarantee we saw everything, because in that last hour,
They
they
replayed
probably repeated everything.
No, to be fair, because I did watch the beginning, and
Okay.
they were doing interviews with Seth, where he was talking about stuff with Cody and his lead up to Mania, etc. They didn't
That was
replay
the-
that.
yeah.
They played a later part of that interview later on, so there was something that you missed, but...
Yeah, I said that was quite good of them. Clever of them. What they're doing, like you said, the sit-down pre-recorded interviews
Yeah.
and stuff that will be on the network probably, but they'll just put bits of it there,
Yeah.
so people that don't watch the network can still see it. Or So yeah, that's kind of clever.
Yeah, it was. The interview was really good actually, as well. That's something else that happened as well that we'd completely forgotten about. It's the Mania, the backstage at Mania thing came out last week, like a week ago today.
It did.
As this video comes out,
it finally got released.
Yeah,
after months and months and months.
Worth the wait as well.
I think it was really good. I
enjoyed it.
I don't know how sincere some bits of it are when The Rock's telling everybody that he came up with the idea to make everybody the best people ever.
The Rock is getting a lot of stick.
But it's also completely plausible that it is completely legit and he did come up with all of that. So I'm not going to...
Yeah. No.
I'm not going to wade in and be like, hey, The Rock's just claiming...
Well, like I said, I'm sure Triple H did say that he brought up the idea of fencing it off into a tag team to not disappoint people. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Triple H said that was down to The Rock coming up with that.
Yeah.
And they both bashed that.
Do you know what there from Phil? What was he going to say, Phil?
Yeah, you did. I love The Rock, but I do find when he does stuff like that, I guess he's entitled to be a bit arrogant who he is, but I don't like the fact that he comes across as arrogant. I really don't like it in him.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that. I struggled with that part of it in the documentary as well.
But that was always part of his character, even back in the 90s. Like he was a super arrogant person.
But I think that's the problem, though. Character, yeah, I'm with you, Phil. I'm with you, Phil.
As a person. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm
with
you totally on that.
I think that...
I think it comes across as a bit like...
It's
one of those moments where you go, never meet your heroes type sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's one of those things, isn't it? Like, you meet him and you're like, well, he's a knob.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. From the bits I've watched, you can see that Cody seems very different and not always in character to what he is in the ring. But The Rock is very much... I think he tries to keep kayfabe a lot. And
he lives the gimmick.
He says, this is who I am. He's probably not, but yeah, like you said, he lives a gimmick.
I think...
If you've not watched it, watch it.
It's very, very worth the watch. There's not much more we can say about it because you all know what happened at WrestleMania.
It's free and on WWE's YouTube channel, so go and watch it.
Yep.
First thing that happened on the show, by the way, Money in the Bank ladder match, men's one was up first. Bosh. Drew McIntyre won.
It was one of the ones that's telegraphed.
So we were looking at this match beforehand, and we were saying, look, there's only two people really that are credible, and we were looking at Jey Uso and Drew realistically, and then we kind of looked at the others and we went, well, why are they even in there?
It was Drew or nothing for me.
And we even said that when we looked at Andrade. And I think Andrade proved himself as to why Andrade was in there. Because that was just unreal. That sunset flip powerbomb over the top of the ladder onto another ladder. Mm-hmm. It was just insane. There's a couple of other sort of monster move sets in there and moments in that match that really do need to be watched to be understood exactly what happened. It was a very good match.
Both ladder matches, for the record, were very good.
We'll get to the other one. I think the other one was actually better. But this in itself was a very good match. It's very difficult for us to break it down and go through the moment by moment stuff without just saying it was a really, really good match and you should really watch it.
It's worth sort of saying we're not going to go through them. I mean, technically we kind of are. We're not going to go through them all play for play because we kind of did that on the What Just Happened, which is here somewhere, and I need to write down it's somewhere on the screen. Double shout at me if I point at it. So I've pointed, but I don't know where it is. Thub, you tell me, you show me in Discord where it is on your screen again.
Fab can't because his screen's too big.
That'll help.
It's there.
Yeah, it's somewhere. But also, following on from that match, we did have, though, because we didn't talk about it as an opinion, Sami Zayn beat Bron fucking Breakker. How?
Do you know what?
Why?
No, but in a way I'm kind of glad because Drew was so predictable, but it needed to happen that I didn't want it. Just the surprise element on a PLE was good, and this gave everyone that shock factor moment.
I don't know how I felt about it. Is my honest opinion on it. I don't know how I felt about it. Like,
I love Sammy.
So do I.
But
this title run has just not been that great. Like,
it never is. Sammy, all of Sammy's aren't. Sammy's a much better chaser, and I know you say the faces are much better chasers, but there has been the occasional one. So I've gone, no, they are still better as a champion.
Yeah.
In Sammy's case, he's never better. He's never been better when he's been champion.
Sammy's...
Also, wasn't Bronze a complete winning streak since coming?
He was. But do you know what? I was very much at the time. I was like, do you know what? Why have they done that? I know we'll talk about it a bit later, but on Raw it kind of made sense a bit, and I'm quite excited for it.
We'll get to Raw, but I'm just talking about how we sort of felt in that.
At the time, I was gutted. I was gutted at the time. I was like, I said to you guys, I wanted Braun to go on a stupid long undefeated streak like Goldberg did. I wanted that from Bron Breakker.
Yeah. That would have been the way for me, and that would have also been the perfect way to have it. Bron wins, keeps his streak, and then guess what? He's got an IC title. He doesn't need to go near the main roster for a bit, the main title. Bit.
Yeah.
But he's still got something. He's still got this massive streak going on, and then they can even tease these few moments where he starts sort of confronting the world champ, the two world champions.
I think the logic to them not doing that is that they've just done that with Gunther. That's the only argument. It would have been very repetitive straight away.
Which is so bloody harsh on Braun.
It is, but it's not. It's kind of one of those where it's just bad timing. It's not. It's not anybody's fault as such. It's just one of those things.
And do you know what?
I guess. I've calmed down.
I also sit there and think, watching Bron Breakker as much as I have, I sit there and think, do you know what? This isn't going to damage him at all, and he's still going to have one of the best careers going. He's that young and so good. He's going to be going all the way to the top anyway.
He is ridiculously good.
Without a doubt.
You're right.
He is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Link, do you want to lead us into the next part? Because you probably have more details on the bit, because I completely missed that one segment. This minor part. That must have happened over the weekend? Today, perhaps?
Oh, for the... so we're on to the world title match.
We are, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just go for it and all like this.
So I mean, everybody's talking about it already, so you probably already know. But there's a moment where Damian Priest got hit with I think it was a Falcon Arrow. I'm not 100% sure.
They were both flipping at each other, countering each other's moves, weren't they? Yeah.
Well, it's Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins for the record.
Yeah.
Aren't really aware which one we're on about.
So Priest was being covered by Seth, and the ref counted 2, and then just stopped, even though Priest's shoulders were still firmly on the mat. So apparently this wasn't a musical cue, which is what people are speculating, because it wasn't long after that Drew came out. It wasn't
for his cash in there.
Essentially, this was all on Priest. Like, he just didn't kick out. Like, he just forgot that he was needing to kick out at that moment. Or
we said don't know if that, or didn't hear the ref, or
which is mental considering what the result ended up being. Why did you not kick out?
Not if you speak to him, but if you listen to Bubba Ray Dudley on the podcast that they do, he noticed something. He thinks he was out.
I thought that as well at the time. I think he landed badly, he was done. I
see him grab Seth's foot straight after.
Or he wiggles his fingers or something. That as if like he's just trying to get his whereabouts and get his feelings back. He really thinks he was out. So if he's been fined for a missed kick out, I think that's a bit.
From what I've heard, he has been fined for it.
Easy.
Well, he's not injured. Like, it's not an injury, so I don't know if he was knocked out or anything else. And there's no. If he was knocked out, he's not declaring it to the doctors because he doesn't want to take time off, which is probably more of an issue. So he probably deserves the fine for that alone.
Oh, that makes sense. To be fair, yeah.
But another point you made, Link, Seth could have easily stopped that count as well.
Seth was more than conscious, looking straight at him. Could have quite easily just rolled back with his legs, and that would have
made that Priest
the ref would have
push
seen
Priest.
it and gone, that's a kick out. Made it look like Priest had pushed him off. Like he could have done it very easily. There's no. I don't personally feel like you can just blame one person for that, but they have. It was Priest.
They have, and that's the news really on that.
Others also said in that little clip on the podcast that the ref was out of order and it should have counted to 3.
Well, the thing is, we said that, but imagine, right, if he had counted to 3, Seth would have been the new champion. The whole storyline with Priest would have been kicked out of Judgment Day because that was part of the stipulation.
That was stipulation, yeah.
You would have had a new champ, so that would have messed up the Seth
the cash
feud.
Because the cash wouldn't
The cash in. Yeah. And it would have also messed up the whole point of they're going to build for it. Everyone knows it with Punk and Seth. Because Punk's now costs Seth.
Yeah, it would have changed about 5 different stories all at once.
That ref would have been sacked if he
I don't think he would.
Shouldn't have been.
I don't think he would. So this is the same ref, by the way, who was suspended because he didn't. No. Hang on, let me get this right.
You're telling the story, mate. I was like, I don't know.
He had an issue in a match not so long back, and I can't think what match it was now off the top of my head. But there was a match not so long back where he didn't count the 3, despite their shoulders staying on the mat.
Right.
And he got done.
And he got suspended for it. So it's for him to do this one kind of again, but in the right senses.
He kind of had to.
Yeah. No, sorry, he did count the 3. They'd messed up the finish in a match. He did count the 3, even though he'd kicked out. He still counted the 3rd count, and he shouldn't have. He should have rolled with it because that was supposed to be the ending.
And he still got it wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of damned if he does, damned if he doesn't with it at some points. And I think to be fair to the referee, he probably made the right decision. He did it the wrong way.
He did. We were talking about this.
In my opinion, he probably should have done what Earl Hebner used to do and just slid his hand under his shoulder to pull his shoulder up and be like, look, there's a gap, even though there wasn't. Just to keep the match going rather than just make it weird.
But I couldn't have seen him. You couldn't have counted 3. There's no way in hell in a world title match like that.
No, there was too much at stake for him to just count to 3.
I'm still a bit pissed off that they wasted the Money in the Bank match for the next segment, or the next part of that with Drew having a failed cash. I mean, Drew has now become the second person to make it a triple threat. Is that right?
Yeah.
Second person.
Yeah.
Yep.
With Seth being the first.
Cash in. Yeah, which so I mean is appropriate. But I didn't mind obviously CM Punk being what causes him to lose the cash in and stuff, and it's created a lot more.
I think it leads to better. Yeah, it leads to better storytelling rather than just somebody having that.
It was done for the right reasons, and it makes
it
makes complete sense.
I don't mind it.
It does feel like a waste of the briefcase, but at the same time, if they didn't have any other plans for the briefcase anyway,
it
would have been pointless to going to someone else. Because let's be honest. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this and be honest with it. Jey Uso is never going to be world champion and never should be world champion. He just shouldn't. I'm sorry, he shouldn't.
Go on, Phil.
He's got a personality. He's a tag team guy with his brother, and it works very well as a tag team with his brother. When he's single, you compare him to other members of his family, even he isn't the best. Like, he doesn't deserve to be the main event guy. He's okay. He's very good, and in a tag team scenario, he's really, really good. As a singles guy, for me personally, I don't see it.
Hence why I don't think it's a waste, because we've said it on the stream. We said it at the beginning of this, somewhere along the line, that there's none of them that we wanted to see as legitimate champs going forward. So.
No, true enough.
I'll be honest.
It's not
do you know
a waste
what?
For me, I don't think.
I think the whole point of Drew having this briefcase and this whole storyline being built like this has been done for a long time. And I reckon that's why Gunther's got the shot for the title shot at King of the Ring, for winning King of the Ring. I think that they're going to keep both belts. They knew exactly what they want to do with both belts, and they're not going to be short-term things. So the briefcase was pretty pointless. Yeah, that's why they've got Gunther the King of the Ring, and they've got his title shot that way.
Yeah, I suppose it does have that sort of effect on it. But from champions, former world champions, people that will never be world champions, we will then sort of had one of the greatest of all-time champions come out.
Someone I was saying has now made it onto my one of 4 Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, Trish Stratus made her way to the stage to introduce John Cena.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, Trish Stratus is on my Mount Rushmore.
It's not my Mount Rushmore she's on.
I was gonna say, mate, her and Tiff on Saturday, they bought their own Mount Rushmores between them.
Yes.
They were.
Well, yeah, John Cena has announced that 2025 will be his last year, and
that's 25.
He's retiring.
Yep, 2025.
Yeah, the last time is now.
Yes.
Yep.
It's sad, but at the same time, it's right.
They're
right
definitely doing it they're definitely doing it the best way. Sting had this whole retirement tour in AEW, and do you know what? I quite enjoyed watching it, and I think it's going to be Cena's is going to be even better the way they're doing it.
If anyone's going to get one, I'm glad it's Cena.
Yeah.
I will only enjoy it if that 17th pops up.
17th world title.
Or he retires. His last match is for the World Heavyweight title, or whichever one they want to do with it, and he wins.
And he actually wins.
Yeah.
I was
before leaving it in the ring.
Yeah.
And then walking out. Yeah.
I was thinking earlier. We were saying about maybe he'll pass the torch to someone, and it'll be like he'll go over for his final match. And we were trying to think the other day, who could it be? I'd love it to see Bron Breakker.
Bron Breakker's a good shout. Like I said,
I wouldn't hate it. I can't lie.
Yeah,
I've said before. I think a match with R-Truth's got to happen at some point.
Oh, definitely. He gets his childhood hero.
Even
John
if it's
Cena.
a tag match and they're on the same side, it's got to happen, hasn't it? Like it's
Yeah. But I'd love Cena to. We've seen him against Theory. That was one everyone wanted. But yeah, for Bron Breakker to pick up a win against Theory would be absolutely amazing. I think the final match, and that would be Bron Breakker's thing. He retired John Cena.
Well, I said to. I
wouldn't mind it if we get to that point where where Bron is completely running shot on the whole company, being a bit ruthless as a champion and being the IC champion, and then Cena actually stops that and vacates the title, so they can sort of take the title off of Bron, stop him being such like a big head, rough shot, complete like just pissing people off for the sake of pissing people off. Then that's a good way to then step Bron into the world title picture. But also Cena finally gets his IC belt.
Could work, yeah, something like that, and it'll give Bron the eyes on him as well, even more so.
I said to, I think it was Pete I said it to, I think I would like, it's a weird one to say I would like to see somebody retire, but I think I would like to see, Randy Orton's been saying he's got 10 years left and all the rest of it. I'd like to see all that be a big swerve in him having a final retirement match with John Cena and them both retire together.
Yeah, they both go out with a nod like that.
Yeah.
I think it's deserved. They've definitely been as important for each other in the whole careers of them two. Not like CM Punk.
Yeah, the comment of... So Punk said you can't think of Punk's career without thinking of Cena, which is very true. And then he said, and he'd like to think also you can't think of Cena's career without thinking of CM Punk. And I'm just like, yeah, no.
There was a moment, but Cena's had lots of moments.
Yeah, you were one of multiple rivalries that he had.
And probably better as well.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, the CM Punk rivalry was great. The Summer of Punk was amazing.
But I also said you'd think of CM Punk as much as you would think of Rusev and Cena.
Yeah.
Because that was just as big in my eyes.
But
Or Umaga.
yeah, I suppose from sort of the past, we sort of ended up moving on to the present next.
Yep.
That's the next big proper moment we had. Tiffany Stratton is now the Money in the Bank holder.
Sorry, just rewind before she wins. What a match that was.
That was amazing.
It was very good.
Like,
Very good.
All of them done well.
watching Io Sky hit Zoe Stark with what they've now called a Michinoku driver onto a ladder from the top of a ladder. It essentially looked like she'd done a pile driver on her through a ladder. It was brutal.
The only way to describe what Zoe Stark looked like after. Do you remember in the cartoons when like Bugs Bunny falls down and he lands on his head dead still, like upside down but like vertical, and then just falls to the side? But it's like he lands on his head and just stands there doing a handstand, a basic headstand. Zoe Stark was doing that.
Absolutely brutal.
It was nuts. But that match was spot after spot.
By the way, worth mentioning at this point, no reported injuries at all from Money in the Bank.
It's crazy, isn't it,
No,
really, when you think of the botches that there were.
Yeah, and I do want to mention one other thing. WWE's fantastic storytelling. Because earlier on in that show, we were given a segment where we were up on one of the towers at the viewpoints in Canada, and they made a big thing about how Chelsea Green was scared of heights.
Yeah.
They've done the whole video on that, and they mentioned it a few times, like they're going out of it. She's like, no. Didn't think anything of it until she got into the Money in the Bank match and went to climb a ladder. Perfect storytelling.
Yeah.
But no, I liked the fact that the Chelsea Greens afraid of heights was the final moment they had in that match before through the table from the top.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
For the record, by the way, it was completely story based that Chelsea's scared of heights because she's not.
She does some mental spots.
She does.
So when she was in TNA or Impact as it was at the time, she did the exact same spots. She also is trained as a stunt woman.
Yeah,
like she's
Really?
she's very adverse to being at height and
it was literally
so
just
not,
good storytelling to tell the story for later on for the fans, which is I think it's brilliant. They're putting that much effort into actual storytelling.
Obviously, sort of that's towards the end of, but pretty much at the end of the show, bar that one match. Goes SummerSlam, WWE's main roster.
It is.
So far, that means we've ended up with Damian Priest and Gunther against, and then Damian Priest against Gunther, and Bailey against Nia Jax. Not Damian Priest and Gunther against Bailey and Nia Jax.
That'd be an interesting match.
That'd be mental. But that's not a bad start to the card. I can't lie.
Nia's been really good since she's come back, in my opinion. Like I know I've said it in the past, but I'll say it again. Like I think she's been really good. She's been properly underrated for what she's done since she came back.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think that leads in nicely because if Nia does pick up the win, her so-called partner at the minute is carrying around that Money in the Bank briefcase.
holder. Yeah, it's almost the exact same story that I was pitching just before Clash, isn't it? Because I was pitching for
Chelsea and Piper.
And Piper,
I was pitching for Piper to win it and Chelsea to be the Money in the Bank holder. So it's
like
not the two people that I pitched for that story, but it's the exact same story.
It's like they've said to Link, we're going to copy your homework. But we're going to
change it a little bit, yeah.
Just so teacher don't realise we're copying.
Well, of course, main thing for the main roster before we sort of move on to NXT. They're making Jacob Fatu look very good.
Oh, the guy's a monster. Just unreal. That guy flies around like a cruiserweight, like Axiom and Nathan Frazier, like Ricochet, that sort of size guy, but is huge. Like he's not that big, but he's just.
He's got a massive presence.
That's what it is. Yeah, he's got the presence of a huge guy, despite the fact he's not.
He's got the same frame as Solo, same sort
very
of size.
similar. Yeah,
and even that,
Maga wasn't even that tall, to be fair.
No.
But it was their presence. It's always been their presence, really.
He's
been a lot bigger than they actually are.
Yeah.
He's got that facial expression of Umaga as well, which was so intimidating.
How tall was he?
Jacob Fatu's
6'4".
spots during that 6-man tag match though were just something special. Like the guy diving around left, right, and centre, just destroying everybody. Like it was. Any time that the face team got an advantage and managed to get to the point where there was almost 3 of them on one of them, Jacob Fatu would come in and level all 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, for me, go on, Link.
I was kind of just segueing, but carry on.
I'm saying this is the thing. Solo's not the greatest wrestler in the world, but any time he goes up into a match, it's one of those with Jacob Fatu with him. He's pretty much going to be like, do you know what? He could do this. He could beat anyone with someone like Jacob in his corner. It's more than credible. He could pick up a win against people like Cody and that. With that just that one person with him.
I said it on Saturday, and Adam said, "Oh, that's a big claim." I think Jacob Fatu is a future world champion. Like the guy 100%. Is unreal, absolute monster.
You say a big claim. I am going to make an even bigger one. This may be the point where I am never invited back to do this ever again. But
you're part of us now. You kind of have to.
Natalia is not going to be a future world champion.
You've not heard it yet.
Don't say he's not going to be around.
Jacob Fatu will be world champion before Bron Breakker is.
I can see it.
You heard it here first.
I mean, they are on separate brands. That's the only thing. So, yeah, technically, they could end up as both world champions at the same time at some point in the future. And
I think that would be insane.
And let's be honest, is the future not bright? Like, or let's do that. Let's make them both world champions on their respective brands before they ever meet each other, because what a match that would be.
It would.
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
I'll be honest, I can see him definitely being a world champion, especially if they keep the Bloodline storyline going. Before this storyline finishes, he'll pick up the title before then. Because there's still legs in this Bloodline storyline, and we know that it's gone on for a long time already.
Sorry, I'm gonna. So you think he's going to become world champion before the Bloodline story ends?
Yeah. I think there's more involved. It's not just going to be Solo, Roman. I think Jacob Fatu is going to be a key part in this whole big storyline. He's going to be front and centre for one point of it.
I think it's hard for them to not put him at that point now, because they've seen how good he is, and obviously we've seen how good he is.
And the fans are going to get behind him so much. Heel or face, they're going to get behind him because they know he's entertaining to watch.
It's the spectacle, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be world champion before the Bloodline story is over, simply because I don't.
Solo's been built for so long to be next in line as such.
Well, there's that, and not only that, but the world championship ideally needs to come away from the Bloodline story at some point. Like, it can't just be about the world title constantly. They need to have their own thing away from the title, and I think Cody being out of it, which he kind of is almost at the moment. I know he's still got this thing with Solo right now, but Solo's got the other story with Roman brewing already. So it's Cody's kind of 1 foot out the door of the Bloodline story already.
And I think the civil warfare is going to carry on until at least Mania.
Yeah, and I think that'll be the end of the Bloodline story, is Bloodline versus Bloodline without the titles involved. And I think that's probably the way it should be as well. We
did always say it didn't need titles. The thing was, this didn't need titles.
Yeah. Well, the title was only ever really involved because the title's the thing that built Roman to the level that he got. You know, that long title reign was the thing that made Roman as big as he was and as massive as he was. Mm-hmm. We've spoken about the Bloodline for a long time here, but it's because, let's be honest, they are the biggest thing going on. Yeah.
This podcast.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next week, in the next 2 weeks, in the next 3 weeks with the Bloodline. I'm really enjoying the story.
I agree. Yeah. Shall we move on then, anyway, though, to NXT?
24 hours later.
Heatwave, was that the one where we had 1 hour pre-show with a pre-show match?
With a match.
Well,
yes, it was.
It certainly seemed that way, Peter. If that's what you're after, yes.
1 hour pre-show with a pre-show match.
With a match.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It wasn't an interesting match, but it's a match. It's something.
It passed the time. It was okay, to be fair.
The match wasn't terrible.
No.
Like, the 4 women that were in it were reasonably good wrestlers. The NXT is still a trading brand.
And the Canadians got their big moment
They got
in
the
front
Canadian
of the
winners.
Canadian fans.
Yeah. I think that's all that match was there for, was to
It was
make,
there.
the fans happy.
We'll get to it because I just want to talk about my favourite wrestler in. It's close. It's close to being in WWE. Full stop. I bloody love Oberfemi, by the way.
He is very, very good.
I bloody love Oberfemi.
Again, another man that could very, very, very easily become world champion in the future.
26.
And I prefer the hillside of Oberfemi like we see in this match.
He's pretty good on the mic. He's an absolute beast in the ring. Like, he launches people around.
Watch
Watch
another
him
one to
throw
watch. So back.
Wesley like a frisbee. Just whoa.
I'm absolutely gutted that he beat Wesley, really, because it means that we're not going to have all those moments with those two being able to just throw someone as small as Wesley about.
Oh, there's plenty of small people around there.
Yeah,
There is, and it doesn't have to be Wesley, I suppose, but obviously it's nice.
Yeah.
the one thing I do want to say about this pay-per-view though as well,
Yeah.
the bit I liked was all 5 matches on the main card were all title matches.
All title matches, yeah.
Yeah, that's not uncommon for takeover, like the takeover style.
Every
stuff,
match
so they sort of
was
come
a
back to
title
it,
match,
yeah.
which I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it sort of gives it something. But again, because they're not recognised names and they want to get the regular sort of Raw and SmackDown viewers,
Yeah,
they need to make them worth something because people aren't going to necessarily follow the storylines, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, no, I
They'll
get
keep
that.
an eye on who the champions is, and that's about it. Which, to be honest, some weeks that's pretty much what we do. Let's be completely real.
It's true.
It's so much wrestling. We don't watch every single minute, every single week.
Phil, opinion on Oberfemi?
I haven't seen much of him, mate, since Mania. But what I saw at Mania is more than enough.
I'll definitely watch this
Again.
match back if
I
I was you.
will
It was
do.
so good.
I think he's another. I think he's a future world champion.
Yeah.
Considering how raw he is as well, I think you're bang on right there, mate. I think you're bang on right.
Yeah.
I like that rawness in him as well. I think that's kind of what makes him a little bit.
There's another
He's
guy
only
that
been
came in
wrestling
with
for
the
3 years, by the way.
There's
3
another guy
years
that
he's
came in
been
with the
wrestling
next in line, and he wasn't.
Not even 3 years.
He wasn't a wrestler starter. Was he a shot putter or something?
I think so. Yeah, we were talking about this the other night.
Are you on about one that was in the main event?
No, what about Oberfemi?
Oberfemi.
Oh, was Oberfemi a shot putter?
Like he came in from the next in line program, which is obviously where they bring people from other sports into.
It's where
into wrestling.
Gabe
I'm pretty
Stevenson
sure
come
that-
from.
I'm pretty sure that's where Oberfemi came from.
Give me a sec. Yeah,
Shot put, yeah,
yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, definitely, and worth watching that match if you haven't seen it.
Which, to be fair,
Very
makes
good.
sense because he threw Wesley like a shot put.
And like I mentioned once already, he come in as the heel this time, and it was quite good to see he's got that side of him. He's can't just play the big baby face, smiley happy. He come in as a heel and was good with it as well.
I don't think he's ever really been the face, mate. I think he's always like he gets the applause and the adulation of the crowd, but I think that's just because they all respect the ability that he's got in the ring. And to be honest with you,
Same as
You
Jacob, he's a
understand
fan
why.
favourite for the big important reasons.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I didn't have to link and talk about the next bit because he liked this bit.
Oh, Kalani Jordan had a wardrobe malfunction.
Of course you want to talk about that.
Well, look, at the end of the day, I figured I'm going to add it in. It's something we should probably mention because it happens.
Let us know in the comments who you'd rather see a more
I've got to admit, Link
Is it Sol
did
Ruka?
notice. Link did notice this before WWE.
Yeah. I think the big thing to point out with the things like this as well, people are interested. Like, whether we like it or not, people are interested.
Get your tits out.
I've got to admit, we was live, and Duffy was instantly there going,
Shock.
yeah.
Shock,
So,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I've already had screenshots sent to me from Duffy. It's,
Oh, brilliant.
But yes,
Yeah.
it happens. Kalani Jordan had a bit of a wardrobe malfunction during the finishing moments of the match. But you know what? Genuinely, a really good match between the two of them as well.
very good flippy that I actually enjoyed.
Yeah.
Match.
Yeah, like Sol Ruka is really good. Really good.
Sorry, I forgot we should be cultural on the wrestling. Sorry, my bad.
Like she flies around like nothing else, and she's genuinely really good.
She's not short ever. She's quite
Wait.
tall and
I've learned something new about her, and
Go
now
on.
I'm disappointed. She's with Tyler Bate.
yeah.
Okay,
That's why Tyler Bates always injured.
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Red Raw knob. Sorry. Carry on.
We had after that match we had Axiom and Fraser's, didn't we? And even in the pre-show, Nathan Fraser didn't turn up and was late. And they were talking about it, and they even had Axiom just in the background, pacing up and down trying to get an answer on his phone, and no one was answering as he was ringing his phone constantly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they built that quite well.
Yeah, they've been building it for a while, to be fair, where Axiom's taking it very seriously that they're the tag champs, and Nathan Fraser seems to not be taking it quite as seriously, has been trying out to get into the solo things. So, like, when they had the Battle Royal for the number one contender for the NXT title, Nathan Fraser was more interested in that than he was in defending his tag titles. So they're building it where Nathan's not giving enough focus to the tag titles, essentially. And it's annoying Axiom. So
We thought that was going to cost them this week.
I genuinely, I thought this was the night that was going to be the end of their reign and the beginning of their rivalry, which is obviously going to happen. But no.
My issue with that, though, is that once that's done with, they're going to get so lost if they're staying as singles, by the way.
Yeah.
Nathan Fraser and Axiom. I think they'll just get completely lost in the mix. I don't think they're... I like them both as in a tag team.
Do you know what? They're as flippy as Kalani Jordan and Sol Ruka, but Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan got personality about them.
But also, they're in a much... They're flippy, and you can be more flippy in women's division, still be quite small and still get away with being classed
But
as
they've
world
got
champion level.
They've got big characters about them, but Axiom and Fraser, they will get lost amongst them. Their personalities and just characters aren't big enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to
They're
argue.
good, but... Yes.
Want to talk about the next match, or...
Well, no, they had Ridge Holland with Chase U on the phone to him, and that's telling him he's got a surprise from on Tuesday.
Yeah, no idea what that is at the time, because that was fairly early on.
Tonight,
Yeah.
but as we record this tonight, so...
Yeah.
My suspicion at the time that phone call happened was that he'd taken Fraser hostage or something, and
that's why he wasn't
defend on his own. Obviously, that wasn't the case because Fraser turned up, but so interested to see what happens there. They've had a weird story going on with Chase U for a while. I tell you what, though, it's nice to see a solid mid-card storyline that goes on for a long time, which is what's been going on with Chase U, because they don't do that in most companies, let alone in main roster WWE. So it's just nice to see an actual long-term storytelling thing panning out and going on and continuing with that one. We now moved into the women's title match where Roxanne retained Booker T was very happy and wouldn't shut up, and it just
creepy man
drove me insane.
It was. It kind of took away from the match as well because it was just
It did. It was a good match. It was a really good match between the two of them. You know, like I think there was four pop rocks in the end before she actually managed to put her away.
Yeah.
As well as the failed pop rocks. There was a little bit of a botch, but it was nothing serious.
No.
I think they just kind of.
But you don't mind that in NXT. You don't mind the occasional botch. So that's kind of the point.
Well, to be honest,
the thing is, they recovered on the fly as well.
Yeah, they shot on it and then they jumped straight back up and they did the move again rather than just going, oh, well, that'll do and ending the match like they do sometimes in other places. Yeah. So it was nice to see them have that veteran instinct, really, to know to do it again. Don't end like that.
No, and they're for two people that haven't been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So you can see they've been taught well.
Yeah.
Which is horrible because Booker T
taught one of them.
I was literally about to say like that's a
well done. We just complimented Booker T. Yeah. Duh. No, it was a good match. It was a good ending. A lot of Ice will end up as champion at some point. I think she's definitely good enough.
It's a very strong women's division in NXT.
It is. It really is.
There's a lot of really good talent, but again, that's obviously great because there's 2 titles down there now for the singles. So
yeah,
for the women.
Possibly more soon. They're looking at 2 women's titles heavily being rumoured.
Well, that's main roster, mate. We're talking about NXT.
Will they go to NXT? Will they be across all brands?
No. Why would they be?
They've already got. Are you on to wait for a minor titles, Pete?
Yeah,
they've already got a minor title in NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, North American.
Yeah.
Save that for when we get to the wrestling news bit, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fatal 4-way.
As people will know, I wasn't there for the for the live stream. But what a mental finish this was, by the way.
It was big. It was all over the place. Like, I had no idea what was going to happen, where it was going to go, who was going to win. Like, it just.
I like this. It was really.
Any of them could have picked up the win.
I think they gave us that feeling. They definitely gave us that feeling. But I think the way that it was done was nice because Javon Evans took the pin.
Yeah.
Which is going to hopefully build some tension between him and Trick because. I'd like to see them two go at it again. Trick obviously threw Javon through the table over from the top rope at one point as well. That was Trick that did that.
Yeah, which was a crazy spot.
Sean Spears came in as the chairman and battered people with chairs for a while, which was fun. Like, and I like Sean Spears. Like, I've always liked Sean Spears. I liked him as Ty Dillinger. He's a hell of a wrestler.
It's still funny though that he was Ty Dillinger, went off to AEW with Sean Spears, and then came back with his AEW name. I just thought it's still quite funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Ty Dillinger was always that face, and it was always a bit of a soft gimmick.
Yeah.
Where this suits him so much better. Actually, the Sean Spears gimmick works for him so much better.
It does.
But it's probably my second favourite gimmick, I think.
10.
My first one. No, Stan.
You just kick Stan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favourite.
But yeah,
carry on.
Ethan Page, new world champion down in NXT. Obviously, we've not seen NXT from last night yet, as you're watching this. So we don't know what's happened with that, but. I really enjoyed this match. The match was really good. We will cover that next week, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the show then ended. That was it. We ended the show with
a jump scare.
It was.
It kind of was, yeah. So we went to the black screen. We went through the copyright logos and things came up on screen. And I remember saying to Pete, I was like, "Oh, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. You never know."
He's like, too soon, and then it ended.
But it
just went to a black screen. It was like, oh, well, that was. And then the screen went white, and we saw Joe Hendry turn around, look at us, and that was it. There was no sound, no music, nothing. But it was. it made us sort
right.
of, oh, okay.
Someone must have said his name.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, own up. Which one of you said it?
But I have
that's the only way it could have worked.
So there's been adverts for NXT this week, obviously on shows since then, including Raw last night. Every time there was an NXT advert, at the end of the advert, Joe Hendry's face again. So it's on the adverts for NXT now as well. It's not just at the end of the show.
Do you think he's coming to NXT for good?
Well, no, because he's still under contract to TNA, so he can't be coming for good. But he's definitely coming for a prolonged run, and potentially for the world title as well. Like so.
Well, oh no, I'm trying to see when his contract ended.
Well, this is it. He's like maybe that's part of the agreement. Like he'll still appear on NXT because it's good for TNA.
Yeah,
and maybe that's part of the plan that when his contract does end up for good on TNA, he is already planned to come to WWE.
They have said, because WWE were asked if they have interest in signing Joe once his contract ends.
Yeah,
and their response was, "Who wouldn't?" Like that was so. Yeah, he's probably WWE bound once his run in TNA is over.
Fair play to him.
This whole Joe Henry thing it's still a bit new to me, but I'm now getting people randomly messaging me and say, "Do I believe?" Where's this come from?
But he's just generated it himself.
Yeah, he's gone viral.
This is the
basically.
mental thing.
It's completely viral, and just him putting out videos and things himself on YouTube and all the rest of it, so that he's gone to the point where people are talking about him constantly, and he's become undeniable. You can't not talk about him. Like
he's mastered his social media side.
Yeah,
of it.
That seems to be the way to do it now these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what got Cody to where he is.
Yeah.
Well, he said he's always had the idea, and then when he went to TNA, they kind of give him the gimmick as well, and he's like, "Do you know what? These two can meet so well."
Yeah.
And then just thrived on it and just run with it, and it's gone absolutely crazy for him.
Sure. Right. Before we get to general chit chat of wrestling things, shall we do one more coverage of Raw from Monday night?
Big one.
Night Raw. It was a big Raw, to be fair. There was a lot
massive
going on.
This was. It was a bit chaotic, but it was good.
So I'm gonna kind of run through. I was going to say I'm going to run through quickly, but I can't, because literally the second thing on the list we're going to need to talk about. So first thing, Pat was back on commentary. Yeah,
Said he missed everyone.
I'm a huge Pat fan. I think everybody knows this. So Pat is back now. Second thing was Punk's music. Mm-hmm. And Punk was out there talking about this, that, and the other, mainly about Drew.
And Cena wants one more shot with Cena.
And he wants to match with Cena. And then Seth Rollins' music hit.
Yep.
So,
oh my.
Yeah, so we got the face off, the conversation. Essentially, Seth saying, "Look, I never wanted to get involved in your business as long as you stayed out of mine, but you're now trying to involve yourself in my business." And Punk's like, "What's your business?" He's like, "My business is the world title. You know, you've now stopped me from being able to challenge for it." Blah blah blah. It was.
Yeah, well,
it was a much better promo than what I'm giving credit for.
Yeah, because Punk even said, "Look, I haven't got a problem with you. If you were in the way, that's done. But I'm after Drew. He's made it personal. And if you've become collateral damage in that, then so be it. I haven't got a problem with you, though."
Yeah.
And, yeah. It was done well. It's teased. It's definitely set something for them afterwards. But he said he wants Drew first.
Yeah, they're 100% gonna. It's gonna break down. It's probably gonna be Mania.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. You know.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be Mania before those two actually go one-on-one. So, following that, we ended up with our first match of the night, which was Jay Uso and Chad Gable, which was interrupted with the lights going off, with that unmistakable sound.
Just before the last lights went down, though, The match was still carrying on.
The match was still going on. Gable looked very sort of scared in the ring, which gave Jay back the advantage, and Jay managed to hit a spear and get the quick free count. Jay then stood up and went yeet and ran off up the ramp.
Ran up the ramp and left Gable there.
Literally stood up, looked straight into the camera, went yeet and ran. And Chad was just still in the ring. Smoke all came around, and then Nikki Cross or Sister Abigail or whatever we're calling her at the moment, I can't remember. I think she might just be Abby or something like that. Anyway, she popped up at ringside between the announce table and the ring. Chad's still in the ring.
At Gable.
Chad then just bounced. He was out of there. He ran off up the ramp as well.
Right, I've got to bring in one bit that really made me laugh.
Go on.
Someone in the crowd, as he's running backwards, by the way, someone in the crowd shouts out, Chad, look behind you.
Yeah.
And as he done that, he fell backwards. It was great. It was great. You see him trip, and then you carry on running.
Yeah. Nikki then turns around and puts the box right in front of Pat. At last, obviously, the boxes were intended for Pat originally, and he wasn't there, unfortunately, but put it on the table for Pat. Later in the night, we found out it was another video, as it usually is. The video was more of Bo just talking to Howdy about his family members being the members of the Wyatt family now, not his actual family. We got quick flashes of all of them, and it was like a flash with them with their mask, and then a flash of them without their masks.
Yeah.
So we've seen them without their masks on TV for the first time.
And it even kept on flipping between Bo and he's masked and unmasked. So I think we probably will see them a lot unmasked.
Oh,
I like that. I wanted that the whole time.
Well,
you did before they even debuted.
We'll get to that in 1 second, because they also explained that they are sick.
Yeah, do you think we're sick? And
which
he's like,
kind of gives,
yes.
Yeah, which kind of gives the explanation to the name, the Wyatt 6, not the number 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, later on in the night, we did end up with a segment. I think it was Gable that was trying to talk to Adam Pearce, asking him for more security. Why the hell's nothing being done about it? Pearce managed to sort of get Gable to go away, and as he opened his door, there was somebody sat in the office. The person then sort of mysteriously looked towards the camera, and it was Bo Dallas, as Bo Dallas just sat there, kind of gave a little bit of a smile, and then Pearce walked in and shut the door behind him, and that was the last we'd seen of anything that was going on with that. But
when was the last time we actually had Bo appear as Bo on regular TV?
No idea. No idea.
Got to be a long time in between moments, hasn't it?
Yeah, it'll be back when he was still in the B team, I'd imagine.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure it was just when they finished with that, and he had that tag team. There was a tag team turmoil match or something, and he lost part of that. I'm sure it was something to do with that. A multi-man tag team title match.
Damn.
Yeah, no idea.
Seeing him felt different. I can't really explain how I mean, but it was just like everything that's gone before him with his character and stuff. With the B team on, you're looking at him now as a legit.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he felt like a bigger deal. He didn't feel like the joke character that he'd been in the past. He felt like he was actually going to be a thing now.
Similar, it's very in a way, I guess, to how Bray did.
Yeah,
in some ways.
Yeah, because it's sort of he had that moment. He sort of it's his Wyatt family moment, I suppose, where it's just sort of like take him seriously. But again, Bo was taken seriously in NXT. He was brought in as this big thing. He debuted in the Rumble on the main roster, and it was
massive.
To be this big thing, and they dropped the ball on him.
Yeah,
if I'm honest.
Bo was more serious in NXT than Bray was when Bray first had his first run as Husky Harris. So
they just give him the joke gimmick in the main roster.
Yeah, I think they dropped the ball on him. So I'm glad they've got it back.
Yep.
Because he is very good, even without this, without the White Six stuff.
Even Strowman said he's very creative. He says sometimes you might even think more than Bray.
Was.
But he said he's got a very, very creative mind. And he's really looking forward to what he does now.
It is believable.
So we then move on, and we've got a segment backstage with Sheamus talking to Big or Bronson Reed. Essentially, they ask each other for a match. Bronson Reed says, "You can't have a match tonight because I've got a match against your mate Pete Dunne." That match then happens, and we get told that the reason Pete Dunne's solo tonight is because Tyler Bate is injured. We didn't know that beforehand.
Last tag team match, wasn't it? Got injured doing that.
Yeah, in NXT, I think he said as well. So
yeah, and tag team match in NXT.
Yeah. So anyway, Big wins the match, which I think is kind of expected in that situation. He then goes for another tsunami. Sheamus makes the save. As Sheamus makes the save, Pete Dunne shoves him off. And the commentary go into the fact that Sheamus abandoned Ridge and Pete and sort of left them to fend for themselves for months on end. And that's why Pete's kind of not interested in Sheamus at the moment. So I think they're building something there. I think they're building.
They are, and I think it'll be quite good.
Interesting. So yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be the best thing on the card, but hey, Sheamus versus Pete Dunne, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be good.
We then get another little backstage segment where Priest says to Seth,
bit weird.
It basically just says, "Look, don't worry about the agreement that we had, the gentleman's agreement. I know you were going to stick to your word and never come for the belt again, but don't worry about that because once I'm done with Gunther, you can challenge again."
That was it was because Seth went up to him and said, "Look, I won't challenge, but if you're going to go at someone like Gunther, you need to be better than you was last week.
Yeah,
you were lucky last week to walk away with that title.
Actually, kick it out."
Yeah, he said you were lucky.
Basically,
you need to be better.
Going on.
Yeah,
that's essentially what is going on there.
yeah, you need to be better. You need to remember to kick out.
You need to not get fined. Is basically what you're saying.
Yeah,
Gunther's gonna kill you.
Because maybe they'll count to 3 next time.
Sammy comes out to celebrate his title match and how well that all went. And was attacked by... Well, I say attacked by... Bron came out to interrupt him. Kind of just stood there without a microphone, just staring at him. Sammy's like, well, say something then.
Nope.
And then Bron goes into a thing where he's like, I'm surprised that you beat me. I didn't expect you to beat me.
Yeah.
And he
I don't deserve a title shot.
Yeah, I understand that I'm not next in line and I don't deserve a title shot, and then just spears him.
And then beats the hell out of him.
Yeah, beats the crap out of him. They get pulled apart and Bron does his thing where he runs all the way around the ring and spears Sammy on the opposite side of the ring again.
Distracted everyone by pointing up to the crowd. They all look and he runs.
So funny. So, squirrel! Run.
It was. He just ran the opposite way.
So stupid. But it was fun. It was fun. Dragunov actually came out after the second spear and kind of had a go at Bron for what he was doing. It was just a setup match for later on, which ended up being Dragunov versus Bron was made for later on in the night.
Which, to be honest, I thought was going to be the feud once Bron won the title, but there we are.
Yeah. We then got another backstage segment where Punk was talking to Adam Pearce. Punk was saying that basically he really wants a match with McIntyre. He wants to fight McIntyre. Pearce was saying, well, you're still not cleared, so we can't make that match. And in the end, Pearce said he's going to call McIntyre and get McIntyre to be there next week to talk. Mm-hmm. But told Punk that he's not allowed to be there next week and should stay home so that they can do it. So, look, I know we've got a thing coming up where we're going to do a little prediction for next week, but let's be honest, this isn't even a prediction. It's just, we all know
it's a spoiler.
Punk's going to be there next week. So
yeah, of course he is.
It's so obvious.
Going to be there asking for his bracelet back.
Yeah, it's a bit daft. Bron Breakker then comes out with new music. It's a great match between Ilya Dragunov and Bron Breakker, which, to be honest with you, could you imagine anything other than that between those two? because
they've had amazing matches.
to be honest.
They've had amazing matches before, and this one definitely lived up to it.
Yeah. The match doesn't end, though, because Bron Breakker decides that he's had enough and just launches one of the announcers' chairs at Ilya Dragunov, like, full on, flings it at him straight into his face. It falls down awkwardly and lands on his shin. And Dragunov ends up with a big cut on his shin, and ends up bleeding quite a lot for most of it. Sami Zayn then runs out, tries to make a save for all of that, and Bron Breakker takes them both out and just stands tall over both of them. So, yeah, maybe a triple threat we're building to there.
Yeah. Ilya didn't just get a chair thrown at him. He was in the middle of jumping into Bron Breakker, like running into him.
Yeah, he could go for a torpedo.
As he was running into him, the chair got hit the other way, so they were like, it was literally, they were running into each other.
It was him
and a chair, yeah.
It was pretty brutal.
And he sold it amazing again.
Anything else anybody want to say about that?
No, I think that was it for that match.
Fair enough. Priest then calls out Gunther for a little face-to-face next week. Again,
it should be fun.
Kind of need it. Gunther's been missing for weeks. Like, I don't know where he's been. He's not really been around very much at all. So it's yeah.
But again, he was quite active. He was pretty damn active when he was IC champion.
He was.
So maybe they're just reducing his schedule a little bit.
Yeah, he wasn't needed for Money in the Bank either, was he? Because he's already got his match for SummerSlam. So I suppose the same with Nia Jax. Nia Jax hadn't really been around as much. So
just a little bit of a reduction. Sense. Just sort of a few paid leaves of absence, I suppose.
Yeah, right. The next segment, I don't really know how I'm allowed to talk about on YouTube, to be totally honest with you, but Liv...
This should be on the Orange and Black website.
Liv Morgan was helping Dom stretch backstage. Carlito and... Carlito and the rest of the lads walk in and catch them. Priest says... Priest's words to Dom are, "You were supposed to sort this ages ago. It's not that hard." At which point Carlito points to Dom's crotch and says, "It looks pretty hard."
Yes, he did. Carlito was amazing. No, before that, I've got to admit, I've got to admit, the best bit. Priest walked in and just shook his head, smiled and shook his head, and nodded like to the other guys to come in, and all you see is Finn's head and McDonough's head just pop out round the corner. Yeah. Literally, just their heads pop out from round the corner and look round. And JD McDonough, JD McDonough just sitting there with a big grin on his face, shaking his head as Liv's like just holding up Dom's leg, stretching him.
It was different.
It was very comical.
But after that, Priest says that that boy's gonna learn about consequences, and then he says he's got a bit of a surprise, and Finn goes, "Well, what's that?" And he goes, "I'll keep it to myself for now."
Yeah,
I think if you'd been watching, I think we all knew at this point. But obviously, Priest knew. But I think
he got the phone call earlier on the day.
At this point,
I'll be honest. Maybe it didn't need that bit. I think you like. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll get to it. Maybe it didn't need that moment.
We then ended up with Damage Control versus Katana Chance and Cartel and Valkyria.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember their proper names. The dancing girls.
The Funkadactyls.
No, it wasn't.
No, the other dancing girls.
We're not allowed to talk about them either.
But it was one of those matches. So they had a promo with Damage Control beforehand, where Damage Control was saying they need to take back control because they seem to have lost it. And they did. They
wings clipped.
Yeah, Valkyria's going to get wings clipped, and they're going to be dancing over them all by the time the match is ended. It was okay, but it was whatever. They won. Yeah. Damage Control did win. At which point they were jumped by Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark, who now have decided to. Obviously, Shayna and Zoe have been trying to Sonya has been trying to recruit
Shayna.
Sonya has been trying to recruit Shayna and Zoe for a number of weeks, probably even months at this point. Apparently they've now taken her up on the offer, and they decided to attack. Just after this, they also had a backstage interview as well, where they were all talking about how this is the future and this is why they're doing it. At which point we could see Gable quite clearly in the background with the Creeds and Ivy Nile. But hey, we'll stop there and see what people's thoughts are before I read the next bit.
I'm excited.
For which bit?
The Creed's joining the Gable?
Okay.
Yes. But do you know what? Shayna and Zoe also said that they are going for the tag team titles.
Yeah.
They did.
I wouldn't mind seeing them with the tag team titles, to be fair.
Oh, that's a point, actually. Isla Dawn and
they turned up
Fire
and they
came out as well, didn't they? I completely forgot about that.
But I wouldn't mind seeing Zoe and Shayna with the titles, because I can see them being quite a ruthless tag team there. Hard-hitting tag team. And I think it's a different style that the women's tags haven't seen yet, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that little triple threat team. I think Sonya's quite good on the mic, whereas Zoe and Shayna probably aren't the best on the mic. So
no, but Zoe's not even that bad. So with a bit of training, I think working with Sonya a bit, she could do all right.
Yeah, it's a good little mix, genuinely. So I think they could do very well for all of them. As for Gable and the Creeds, we all know it's going to happen. It's just a case of when. And we're all waiting for it.
And I've just been wondering whether that's what made me sort of like, should it have already happened by now? And this is the bit I'm trying to decide on.
Well,
I think it's led to this perfectly, because don't forget the bit where Gable was talking to Adam Pearce about security. He said, "If you want, I'll sort it out my way. But when I sort it out my way, I want thanks from everyone." And he was like, "Yeah, go sort it out." So I think he's now going to be getting the Creeds to back him up down to the ring, just as extra protection. His own little security team.
It's a good way to put them together, I suppose, because obviously he needs that extra little bit.
SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Bo Dallas was in the office for a reason. I'm assuming for his first match, it's going to be SummerSlam.
Yeah.
3-on-3.
Is it going to be
or even 4-on-4?
Well, is it going to be 1-on-1 or is it going to be a mixed tag? Like which way are we going to go with it? Because
what out of their characters, I assume though you're talking.
Well, out of the, because obviously it's going to be Gable and Bo. That's the obvious two. So obviously that'd be a 1-on-1 if they wanted to. But then you've got Rowan, Loomis, and Gacy.
And you've got Nikki Cross.
And then on the other side, you've got Brutus and Julius. And you've got Ivy Nile.
Realistically, we're going to have on the card, we'll have Gunther against Priest, Bailey against Nia.
Yeah.
We're going to have
LA Knight Logan.
Probably, more than likely. Oh, it could. Oh, do you know what?
And you're gonna have Solo and Cody as well.
More than likely again, yeah.
Which means that I think that could be a 6-man tag.
So you think 6-man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't think they'll add the women in there as well?
I think they'll be at ringside. I think they'll add more at ringside.
I think they'll be a bout. I don't think.
Yeah. No, I think you're probably right.
What about you, Phil?
6-man for me as well, yeah.
So that brings me on to the next part of that question. Which three of the Wyatt Six?
I would have Bo
not Bo
running it, and Bo being the conductor and sending them three into war.
Okay. I agree. Fully agree.
I'd say Bo, if they do that, then he gets to take on Bo, kind of thing. It won't just because if he took on Bo and beats him, or Bo beats Gable, that's the end of the story. This way, it just takes on a bit more.
So for me now, it's like, well, Bo being in, sending the boys in makes sense, because then they're still outnumbering Chad and the Creed brothers, even with the women involved. So maybe that becomes potential for a Survivor Series match when they're in character then.
Yeah.
Because I'm not convinced convinced we'll get Civil Warfare at Survivor Series at the minute. Like Link said earlier, maybe that's our Mania match. And they're going to hold off on that until Mania.
Gable recruits
and we
one
end
more,
up with
maybe.
The Wyatt 6. Yeah, one more. I mean, bloody hell, like... Imagine if Jason Jordan made a comeback. But for example, like they need to add in, they can add in anyone really to that.
Ooh,
but like and make that the War Games match.
Someone else they've been targeting quite a bit with videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Throw Pat in there.
And Pat. Be interesting.
Throw Pat in there.
Pat love a War Games. I'm sure he'd love to be involved. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. That's where I'm at with that. So, like I say, SummerSlam makes good spot to have X-Man as a basically everyone out of character type thing, and then you move to the next big one, Survivor Series, where they're in character.
Works.
That's my thought.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
I'm excited for it wherever it goes, I'll be honest, because this whole Gable Wyatt family storyline's doing quite well for me. It's kept me interested.
Yeah. I mean, Link, you're going to be the perfect man to finish off the entire sort of end of Raw. Go on, because I know for just one thing you wanna sing.
Well, we went from talking about a mixed tag match to an actual mixed tag match that happened first, and we ended up with Dom and Liv versus Ray and Zelina Vega, who I know Dan's a huge fan of because they're about the same height.
She's good, man. She's a good workhorse.
But hold on,
don't you dare say Zelina's taller than me.
And Ray isn't?
She might be.
Oh yeah, Ray probably is actually my height. No, I'm going to find out now. He's probably shorter than me. You carry on.
Ray's definitely taller than you. But yeah, the match was the match. I'm going to be honest at this point.
Piss off! No, he's not. He's 5'6".
At this point,
5'7".
I was very, very, very tired, and I was starting to fall asleep. So the match was.
There's a shock.
Yeah, it was an okay. To be honest, it's an okay match. Ray, all of Ray matches lately have bored me a bit.
They're exactly the same. Yeah. But Liv managed to get the win, or Liv and Dom managed to secure the win in the end, and they were
first time he's beat his dad.
They were celebrating in the ring, and they kind of went down into a
orange and black website moment.
I'm going to call it a full mount rather than just naming it as a missionary position, which is definitely what it was.
Liv kind of jumped on him, didn't she? And they fell forwards.
Yeah, they looked very much like they was just about to kiss, and then all of a sudden we got, this is my brutality. Yeah, so we got rear bag, which was great. Wicked. Also, I got the words completely wrong just then, but I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I say.
But it was just
it
was nice to have Rhea back. I'm not gonna lie. She came out.
It is good.
She kind of stormed out of the ring. Liv dipped.
Pop as well, by the way.
Liv dipped instantly. She was long gone. Dom kind of stood in the ring, waited, spoke to her, and he was like, "Oh, you look good." And she said, "You look like shit." He went for a hug, and she just kind of blew straight past him and walked off backstage. There was also a clip on the social medias of Liv backstage looking back through the curtain at them and just laughing.
Yes. What else has she planned?
What a shit.
Yeah.
Have you seen the bit that the USA Network cut off of Dom and Rhea?
No.
Walking back. As he's walking back, he's walking in front of her backwards as she's kind of storming down to the tunnel. Down the ramp, and he's like, "I can explain. I've been trying to sort this, and I've been dealing with it, and I'm trying to deal with it, and I promise, it's not what it looks like." And she just kind of carries on, just steaming past him
with my knob.
Yeah. So he's been dealing with it apparently.
Yeah.
So, after his dad, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got the full tash now as well.
Full tash, yeah.
He's the full Eddie tash. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's going to come out with roses on Monday.
He does fully lie, cheat, and steal. But yeah, that's our recap of pretty much everything that's happened on the shows that we've been watching.
Been a lot,
but there's a few more extra points.
Yeah, a little bit of wrestling news now.
Yeah. Yes, we had a very sad moment this
Yeah.
Well, recently, and obviously that culminated on Saturday in the. He had a time, but it was towards the afternoon, in the end of the afternoon, wasn't it? But
Yeah.
Seeker has passed away, and we had the funeral at the weekend.
Yeah, I believe the funeral was on Saturday.
Yeah, it's the same day as the PLE, because they were saying some of the people, rumours was going around that some of them might have missed the funeral or the full funeral.
Yeah.
To fly over or to be in Canada. For
I made
PLE.
a comment about Kevin Owens turning up in Bermuda shorts, didn't I? Not realising it was.
You did.
He'd been, yeah.
Yeah.
But we've seen moments of Roman there, Paul Heyman, and Rikishi and family, and it was quite a nice moment. I've seen a video where there was all about Seeker's plot, which is right next to Matt's, which is Roman's older brother, which was Rosie.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite nice. It was quite nice. They had the full Samoan funeral, which was all a very traditional funeral, which is quite cool.
As cool as funerals can be, but I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. From one bit of bad news to a good bit of news, we've got another pay-per-view next weekend, not this weekend. It's Saturday the 20th of July, TNA Slammiversary. So we'll be watching that live on our Twitch. Make sure you come over and check it out. I haven't actually seen the card yet.
No, I can't say I've really looked at much of the card. It's one of those where, to be honest with you, we've tuned in for the last year.
They never put on bad.
It's been really good.
We have done.
Carry on whilst I'm.
We have done.
What?
We was talking about the main event.
Oh, we did. Yes.
Me and you was talking about it the other day.
Yeah.
On stream.
The main event is mental. Wow.
It looks really good.
Well, assuming it's main event because it's the TNA World Championship.
Yeah, it will
should be. Moose, Josh Alexander, Steve Macklin, Nick Namath, Frankie Kazarian, and Joe Hendry in a six-way elimination match.
Yeah, so it's an elimination match, which is good.
Pretty stacked for a match.
Yeah.
I do like an elimination match. It's,
TNA don't put on bad pay-per-views at all, to be fair. None of them are really that bad.
Well, I was going to say, pay-per-view from TNA is always going to be good when you've got someone like Jordan Grace on it, who's going to be facing Ash Whale who's formerly Dana Brooke. But, I mean, Jordan's contract's up in January too. That was more news we had.
Yes, yeah, that news was broken yesterday, I believe, as we were recording this, day before yesterday for everyone watching this. Her contract is up in January, which means that she will be a free agent before
the Rumble.
Before the Royal Rumble.
They're on about moving
the
on
Royal Rumble is
until
in February.
It writes itself,
February.
doesn't it?
It does.
Writes itself.
It does. And the thing is, I think, do you know what? There's a partnership going on with TNA now. And it's the kind of thing, even if she does come across, she will make appearances every now and again on TNA. And I reckon they'll probably allow that and be like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think with the partnership, she would still be in TNA as well, but she'd be under contract
doing an appearance
for the majority.
Even just a big spot to get the fans happy every now and again.
I think she's fantastic.
Something like that would be perfect.
Personally, so I can't wait for her to be on the main roster and be full time in WWE. I think she's
definitely a future women's champion.
Definitely needed on the women's division in WWE. She's got an aura to her that most of the women just don't have.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Speaking of people without aura.
And people that are not leaded, that's just what I was thinking, yeah.
So, obviously, what's his name? Gable Stevenson got released a couple of weeks back. His brother has now been released as well. I've been told that his contract will not be renewed, which is Damon Kemp of the No Quarter Quatch crew. No Quarter Catch crew. Which means that they're down to 2 members now. Although 3, because they've just recruited someone new, I believe, as well. So it still seems to be kind of a death nail for your career to be in that stable.
Don't join that faction.
With the exception of, obviously, Charlie Dempsey, who's never going to go anywhere, is he? Let's be honest.
Apart from Solo.
I mean, that's something worth mentioning, the fact about him anyway, about his brother. he didn't just get released. Within the same month, he signed for the Buffalo Bills in NFL.
Which is crazy.
Despite never playing football before.
What? Yeah.
So yeah, his first time putting on a pair of cleats was during his workout for the Bills. So he actually signed for them before he even trialed with them.
That's madness.
That's insane. I've just seen that. I thought that was worth a little dance fact of the week.
Absolutely insane.
Segment.
Yeah. But while we're on contract news, Pete, you gave this information to me earlier. Do you want to mention it?
Yep. Finn has now said that he's 5 years into a now 10-year deal because he's just re-signed for another 5. His contract was due up very soon, and he said they sat down. It took moments. He wanted to stay. They wanted him to stay. They had a chat about what's going to happen in the future. All happy, and instantly re-signed for 5 more years.
Cool.
He said it was so easily done.
I think that's the right move for Finn. Personally, I'm hoping now that his contract is a bit more of a longer term one, that they start to potentially put him back into the main event where he should be, because he's so good.
Yeah. He did say there was a few. He did say there was a few things he wanted, and as soon as he said them, they went yep, and we want you to stay. So I can imagine he's going to want to get up to that level again. And
you say that he's not an overly big-headed or ambitious guy when it comes to the character side of things.
No, but I think he knows his worth there now. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He knows his worth. So for them to instantly want him and just go, without even questioning, we'll have you for 5 more years. He said it was literally minutes they were sorting it out for.
Our final bit of news.
Go on, Dan, give us our last piece of news.
It's very, very obvious to why, and we don't need to go into it. Logan Paul has been announced as the only champion that will not be booked for the upcoming Japan tour.
It's kind of obvious.
Move on. I understand why, and that's the correct decision for every single party involved in that.
Do you know the only thing with that is, when is this tour?
I don't care. Let's move on.
Well, I
do
because
about this.
I want him against.
Go to Japan?
LA Knight again in SummerSlam, which ain't far away.
Yeah, Pete, he will still be champion. He just won't be doing a Japanese tour.
Yeah, the tour's like within the next couple of weeks, mate.
I was about to say, because he won't be champion by then, but okay, yeah.
Oh, okay, but either way, he's not going to be there. Right, we're on to the segments of the week, because these are 3 things that Link has sort of devised for going forwards, and I quite like them, so let us know any more sort of segments of the week that you'd like us to follow, because not every week is going to be a 2-hour bloody podcast.
No.
This week is. Next week might only be 20 minutes, half an hour.
There was big PLAs this week, to be fair.
Yeah, I want to know, because we're going to start off with one of them there. I missed them, and now I'm going to look out for them, because I never even thought about it. What was your crowd sign of the week? I know you like them, Pete, a lot.
I do, and I picked up on one I picked on one this week. And
there was more heads at Money in the Bank. I did notice that. More massive heads, but that was about it.
I know exactly what mine was. You all know exactly what mine was, because I wasn't sure about it.
I can't remember what it is that you said that you'd
No,
seen,
exactly,
though.
and I'm in the same boat. Was it Money in the Bank, wasn't it?
Yeah, Money in the Bank, there was a big crowd sign that said, Damian Priest eats Slim Jims both ways.
Both ways. That's it,
That's
both ways. Yes. Go on, Pete, did you have another one?
I remember picking up 2 or 3 that I really liked, and I cannot remember what they were. So I'm going to
sprung
start
this
keeping
on
an
us.
eye out for them.
So this is going to be one of our new ones, and I do like it, because it means we got to actually watch it, concentrate a hell of a lot more. Go on, our moments of the week, though. If we're going to have to summarise sort of everything that we've picked, what's your sort of favourite bit for various reasons?
It's difficult. There's a lot of moments this week with the 2 pay-per-views.
Mine's quite easy, because it's the first time I felt like there's going to be someone that's going to eventually challenge sort of Charlotte Flair's sort of level, and that's Tiff winning the Money in the Bank. Like, it's huge for the entire women's division, that one for me. Like, it's I think that's the start of multiple world championship reigns from Tiffany Stratton. And I think that's why, for me, it was my moment of the week, personally.
I can't decide between two. Two moments that I really remember this week made me pop. And I think that's what I'm going to base this whole thing on. There was Io Sky's Michinoku Driver. That was nuts.
Yes.
Definitely deserves
And and the other one, which I've got to put them both together, which was Obafemi. Looked like he was going to F5 Wesley. But as he threw him up in the air, he literally threw him up in the air, and he carried on spinning until he landed on his stomach.
Yeah, like a frisbee. It was,
He literally just threw him up, and it was like, what have you just done?
Like a shot put.
Yeah, he literally threw him vertical up, and it looked like he was setting up for an F5. And as he kind of jumped up for it, instead of putting him onto his shoulders, he just threw him in the air.
Yes, it was like a press slam essentially, but he just launched him into the sky and span him while he did it. It was
I've got one more, and I can't pick.
Well, I tell you what, instead of picking more than one, why don't you let Phil have his? Because otherwise, you're probably going to say something he was going to say, and then he doesn't get one.
Yeah, good point. Go for it.
Probably is, to be fair. For me, it would be Sami Zayn beating Unbreaker, because nobody expected it.
I'm not gonna lie, that's what I was thinking of as well. It happens. Yeah, no, the unpredictability of it and the fact. Do you know what? I think the easy option for me to probably go for then is Rhea Ripley's return.
Yeah,
I think it's a fair one.
Do you know what was it?
Absolutely fair one.
Do you know a bit that really did impress me? One of Bron Breaker's new moves that I've never ever seen before. That I've just remembered. He went to go for a gorilla press, but landed on, like, he was sitting down and he pulled Sami Zayn onto his knees. It was really weird. Yeah, gorilla press that landed with Sami Zayn stomach across Bron Breaker's knees. And I was like, do you know what? That's an actual savage move. It was, check it out this week on Raw. It was really good.
Fair dues. And have we got any predictions for the next week? I'm just trying to think.
I mean, the obvious one's the one I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, but it's kind of completely a given that CM Punk's going to
probably going to turn up and be involved. Yeah,
be a bit pointless if he doesn't.
Obviously, anything involving Rhea and Dom and Liv now be something.
I think we're going to get a match with Kevin Owens and Jacob Fatu.
What, this week?
I can't wait for it. Possibly, they were setting up for it because I think it's going to... I could see it maybe on SmackDown this week.
Mine.
What a SmackDown.
Mine's going to happen, and it's going to happen tonight as they're watching this. And it's we're going to get Hangman Adam Page winning the Owen Hart Cup final to face Swerve Strickland at Wembley for their 2.0 match, which again, I think that's going to be bloody.
It's a solid prediction.
Yes.
It's a solid prediction.
I think that's going to be a very bloody match again, same as the last one. Maybe not as horrendously like drinking blood moments, but I think it'll be monstrous.
I mean, my prediction that I'm going to go with is kind of an easy one. We can have more than one, and we don't need to have one at all. But I think it's kind of an easy one. But it's from last night, technically now. So
that's what I was going to mention.
It's Joe Hendry's turning up, isn't he?
Someone said his name.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, he's going to turn up tonight. There's no way they keep teasing it
or
and go
night.
through,
Yeah.
they don't go for an entire episode of NXT with it just appearing every now and again, and people aren't going to mention his name. So it kind of has to happen. Really, I'd be shocked, genuinely shocked if it didn't happen last night.
Just for the record, for everybody that watches the podcast, anybody that's got this far as well, especially. We are going to continue to record them on a Tuesday, and they'll be coming out on a Wednesday. So NXT is the one that we're kind of going to miss. Unfortunately, it's going to be in an awkward
There was
spot.
always going to be one.
But yeah, that's where we're at. So again, thank you so much for watching for the last 2 hours and whatever it's been. Like, you guys are nuts.
It won't always be 2 hours.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But again,
it was a big week.
It was nice to get the ball rolling with our big bumper episode on the new channel. And you must remember, please, leave a like, share, subscribe. Make sure you turn on that notification bell and be ding-dong.
Play with your bell.
Every single time we have a wrestling upload video on the Hero Project Wrestling channel. And as always, we will catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Players.
Peace.